Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rslash Tales from Retail. In today's episode, people that come 5 to 10 minutes before the store closes is the worst. You will be available to serve me. Closing early Christmas Eve tale. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. People that come 5 to 10 minutes before the store closes is the worst. I work at a grocery store and we are normally open 18 hours a day. I normally work nights because I prefer it. So I'm always part of the closing shift. Anyways, today on Christmas Eve, like an hour ago, we closed. We normally closed at midnight, but we closed today at 10 p.m. We had 40 people in the store at 9:45. So we were forced to lock the doors at 9:50. I was outside gathering all the carts and my god, so many people were coming in the last 10 minutes and fighting with my manager over the fact we closed the door early. This normally always happens at midnight. People coming at 11:55 and we deny them. What made tonight different is just the number of people cussing and trying to force their way in. It got to the point where customers starting fighting with each other. The customers that defended us and the ones that were complaining. We want to go home, it's Christmas Eve. We literally were open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Why come at 9:55 and fight us about it? Anyways, I didn't end up leaving until 10:45, and my managers are still there closing everything. People have no idea what we actually go through. It's ridiculous. People see the closing time and take it as a personal challenge to come a few minutes before. That's one of the things I liked about working at the office supply store back in the early 2000s. Management did not mess around with closing on time. We stated with "we are closing soon" announcements on the PA at 15 minutes to close and every 5 minutes after that. If the customer wasn't up to the registers by 5 minutes after, the manager would hunt them down, tell them they need to check out now as we were closing the last register soon. If the customer be ched about it, management was not above politely threatening them with trespassing and arrest. That's rare. I've been the hunted before and felt so guilty, I would just panic and run to the register. We had the same issue tonight, of people walking in 10 minutes to close as though we just opened, and in spite of 3 intercom announcements. Staff wasn't having it. Soon as that clock rolled over to closing time, we shut the lights off, collected stragglers and locked up. It's Christmas Eve, do this any other day. We locked the doors. As in at 9:50 the doors were locked and the customers inside that were leaving, my manager would just unlock it for them. It was the other people on the other side of the door that were cussing at her and getting all mad. I was outside getting the carts that were in random spots, watching it all unfold. Ugh, so true. Like, okay, I understand you need to buy stuff. But please don't wander around the store after closing time. Be mindful of the time and remember, employees are waiting to go home for the day. I know. They think we take some type of satisfaction rejecting them. Like, no. Although one customer that was cussing at my manager was like, I want to talk to the manager, and my manager was like, let me go get her. Oh wait, she's right here, you're talking to her. LMAO, my manager was so done at that point. She was being nice, but the customers were cussing and threatening her. It's so silly. Seems like the only people that understand are the ones that have worked customer service before. I would tell people who were in the store past closing that they had to help clean. It was amazing how fast they moved to get out of the store. Or you were locked in all night. My store closed at 6. We've had signs up since October about our holiday hours. One person somehow managed to sneak in at 5:55 to shop for her whole Christmas meal. She couldn't understand why she was told she had 5 minutes until we closed. Threw a fit. Deli was closed because she needed stuff from them for her appetizer tray. Deli closed at 4, so they would be out the doors when the alarms were set. She couldn't believe we didn't have about a dozen things on her list: pie crust, marshmallow fluff, dried beef/packaged beef, cream cheese, Cool Whip, all the holiday stuff, and proceeded to wander the store thinking we had it all hidden from her. Thanks to her and her alone, those of us closing didn't leave until 630. Honestly, people, why would we hide things? Like 15 to 20 years ago, my dad managed a big box store and was closing Christmas Eve. A man arguing about needing in to get gifts, and my dad told him if he let him in, the man would first need to grab a calendar so that my dad could circle Christmas for him so he didn't miss it next year. The guy left. This made me giggle. I wish I'd been there for that. Yeah, we normally close at 10, but my manager told me to lock the doors at 9 after I told her about the hell that was last year. We had tripled the sales and tripled the deposit for the night than that of any other day. Locked the doors at 9, still had about 9 people ignore the sign outside banging on the door. Our last customer still didn't leave till nearly 9:30, and we got out just around 10. Yes, still earlier than usual, but still an hour after the doors were locked. Last year, when we closed normal time, no one seemed to have any sympathy for the fact they were inside when the lights automatically shut off. It's all about them, and as a retail employee, you don't seem to matter or have a life. I can see needing a few last-minute items, but these people tend to be doing last-minute shopping by loading up a $200 cart at 10 at night on Christmas Eve. I had an extra bit of anger to the ones that came right before close, and then would chuckle and say something like, "I'll be quick, glad I made it in time." I had a guy one time who ran up to my store as I was walking up to the door to lock it, and he whips open the door fast and leaps inside and goes, "Made it. Now you have to serve me." I quickly replied back with, "No, I don't. We're closed. Get out." He spouted off the usual corporate, yada yada, but this was before the labor shortage, and this company was already struggling bad with recruiting new employees because they paid close to minimum wage and everywhere else was paying $10 plus an hour, so I knew my job was safe to stand up to customers within reason. If you close at 10, it is my job as a customer to be outside at 10. That means that if I get in the store at 9:55, I only have a minute to grab what I need, and the rest of the time is needed for the register and exiting the store, in case of delays at the register. Most of the time, I only need a literal minute for grabbing and paying, and then 30 seconds more to exit the store, to the staff's surprise. And that's my responsibility as a shopper, to be polite to the humans working there, leave the store in good condition, not making a mess of the shelves, etc., and exit before closing time. If only it was this realistic. But 90% of the time, these statistics are based on what happens at the store I work at. It is never like this, lol. Attention, any customers reading this. Close at 7 asterisk means you need to have paid for your stuff and be out the door before 7. Not that you can still walk in and start picking stuff up at 6:59. The amount of people who don't understand this basic concept boggles the mind. Retail workers have lives outside of work that they want to get on with. Asterisk substitute 7 for whatever time applies on that day / to that shop. Exactly. The whole store closes at 7. Not just the entrance door. The amount of people that don't understand this basic concept, what? That's literally not how it works though. Just 'cause you think that's how it should be, doesn't mean that's how it actually is. You will be available to serve me. I try really hard to remember all the good moments, especially on days like these. I'm new to retail management, and like everyone else, we're operating on a skeleton staff, while the owner expects us to do the same level of sales as years past when we had 4 times the employees. I've worked 18-hour days, no, I'm not exaggerating, but I suspect everyone here has had the same kind of schedule for the last 2 weeks. We closed early today for Christmas Eve, and sure enough, as I was finally locking the doors to take my little girl Christmas shopping, a woman comes blazing up in her Mercedes. "Excuse me," she simpered, "but don't tell me you're closed. I need a bunch of desserts." I'm standing right in front of the sign on the door which displays our holiday hours. I awkwardly point to it and smile. "I'm terribly sorry, but we are closed." "Oh, it'll just take me a minute, and dash." "I'm terribly sorry, but we are closed. The registers are closed for the day, and there is no product to sell." Once she realizes her smarmy smile isn't getting her anywhere, she snarls, "I checked your website, and it says you're open till 8 p.m. I know this is a lie because I'm the one who updated the website with our holiday hours a month ago. I'm terribly sorry, I repeat, but we are closed, and dash." She gets the crazy eyes and in front of my daughter screams, "You will be available to serve me." This is such an odd statement that I numbly apologize again and back toward my car with my daughter behind me, while she's still screaming at me. "You ruined our Christmas dinner." My daughter was silent as we pulled out of the parking lot and finally said in a small voice, "That made me so sad. This woman called me the B word because I wouldn't open everything back up to sell her a dessert. On Christmas Eve. In front of my little girl. How pathetic. I hope that B has a miserable Christmas. After being in retail for almost 20 years, nothing surprises me anymore. You really see the worst in PPL. Trust me, she is having a miserable Christmas because she's a miserable person. If a dessert shop being closed is enough to ruin her Christmas, then it wasn't gonna be great anyhow. As a fellow ruiner of Christmases, good job. I would not bow to someone's lie about the other guy discounting a barbecue for him. There are two of us that work at that location, and we talk and leave notes for one another. Don't bow to pompous idiots like those. If someone would have said something like that in front of my kid, I would have let a little more venom loose their way. "Tough luck, lady, guess you should have been here when we were open." Some people think the world revolves around them. Exactly. The only person who ruined Christmas here was Karen. Nice to meet you, fellow ruiner of Christmas. May the fleas of 1,000 camels take up residence in her car. And the biting ticks too. Your daughter is right. This is sad and pathetic behavior, and she is wise enough to see it. So sorry you had to start your time off with that interaction, but I hope you and your family have a wonderful holiday. Thank you, and the same to you. I swear we should be allowed to swear at and go off on Karens every time they call us names. Especially when they do it in front of kids. Yeah, the in front of my daughter was my huge issue here. Karen just lived, laughed, loved the hell out of you right there. Sometimes she cooks with wine too. Ah ha 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 ha. I'm stealing that. I'm sorry you were treated like that. You did absolutely nothing wrong. Don't let another person's bad attitude affect your holiday. I hope you have a wonderful and happy Christmas. Thank you, and the same back to you. I hope it's been a wonderful day. Smiley face. Karen's lack of dessert planning does not constitute an emergency on your part. Hopefully she went to pound sand. I'm sorry. SHE ruined her own Christmas because she didn't come on time to get her item. It's not your fault. Maybe next time she should have better organizing skills and get everything she needs before the last minute. Closing early Christmas Eve tale. So I work in a phone/Wi-Fi provider shop. We set people up with contracts and phones. Customers have accounts with us, and we can check when they're due upgrades, add to their bundles, and check bills. One rule is for data protection: only the account holder and authorized users are allowed any access to the account. We can check if someone is authorized on someone else's account, but if they're not, we can't do anything. This is important later. Authorized user will be shortened to AU for this. So I'm praying for a 4 p.m. close instead of a 5 p.m. when a man comes in and demands I pull up his wife's account so he can see if he's due any upgrades. I pull it up and check if she has any husband registered as an AU. She doesn't. So I say sorry, but she'll have to come in herself as she's the only one authorized. You are not an authorized user, and he gets mad. He calls it bullsh*T and accuses me of being racist towards him, and says he's calling the cops and his wife. He leaves to do so, and leaves the mall. The shop is incompletely. I leave a note on the account to say data protection authorization, DPA, failed. Around 5 minutes to 4 we get a message to say close up, so I pull stuff in and pull down the shutter to below my shoulder as we are required. I'm quite short so it's down a lot. Do the routine, put stuff away and clock out. Alarm on, lights off, I'm out. Pull shutter all the way down and skip out. And who passes me as I do? Our little friend. He looks super offended and goes to another phone shop in the mall to whine and get a phone. Anyways, Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. Here's to some time off. Enjoy. So he's just going to set himself up with a whole other contract? That's smart. Some people just have insanely high time preference and simply can't be talked out of bad impulsive decisions. Usually they can be talked out of it explaining that it means not even having the same phone number, as that's an immediate consequence, but things like you will now get 2 bills don't even register. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.